Shannon, did you know that there are 17 different departments that make up our Jackson County government?
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
And there are even more programs under each of those departments.
It would be great if we could eventually cover each and every one of them for our show.
Well, that is exactly what this segment is designed to do, Joe. Let us introduce you to one of your county departments and programs.
Hello, I'm Bill Mance with Jackson County Close-Up. We're here today with Judge Joe Charter at the Jackson County Justice Court. It's our hope you understand a little more about the Justice Court and a little more about Judge Joe Charter by the time we finish today. So thank you very much for taking the time today, Joe. We just really appreciate you just being willing to share with the community what we're doing over here in Central Point. So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
So how many people work for the Jackson County Justice Court, and what is the role of each one of the people, including yourself?
I have the easy job. I just, interact with people about their driving habits. And we look at I look at their driving history, their driving record. If they have suspensions, it's useful for them to know where they are, because they got to clear each court to get reinstated to drive. That's kind of the focus I have is, okay, you've had some problems. You were young and reckless. Now you're 35. It's time to get your license in order. So that's what I do, arraignments and trials. Of course, every citizen has a right to a trial. The officer has the burden of proving the violation by a preponderance of the evidence. I have 3 clerks. 2 came from the old Gold Hill Justice Court. Renee and Dawn, and they've worked for the county 20-some years. Wow. And then we have the one millennial, Kayla Carpenter, who has been here about 11 years. So wow. Since she started working, so she's the next generation.
And they're literally, what do they do when you say that they're, in their day-to-day jobs?
Well, part of it is customer service. Okay. They deal with people at the counters in terms of what their options for trial or no trial and, payment or community service or payment programs. Kayla works closely with collections. Dawn is my head clerk. All of our interactions with the other county agencies and departments, the sheriff's office, the municipal, the city offices. And they just move a lot of paper. Except, we're mostly electronic now. Right. So they're looking at screens and they're taking in the citations, they're arranging them for me so that we're efficient when people come in for arraignment so we can explain what their options are.
So we're sitting in what's relatively a new building, although it's been here for a little while. And I know that in watching from the groundbreaking to the opening, there was just a lot of talk about how thoughtful the facility was built for not only the people who are working here, but the people who are actually coming here. So how's it working out? Tell us a little bit about how this new building is helping you to do a better job every day.
Yeah, it came up, we had a 10-year lease, our first 10 years. When we're coming to the end of that 10 years, well, is it more efficient economically for the county to build a building or continue leasing? The accountants, crunched the numbers and said, it's better to own, basically, long-term if we're going to support the Justice Court. So they did, and we appreciate that. The county got a great deal on, I think they paid somewhere around $200,000 for the land here in East Central Point. They were prescient. They were predicting the future because we didn't know at that time that Costco was going to come in down the road.
Gotcha.
So East Medford, I think, or East Central Point is going to be booming in terms of the business that will, there'll be little strip malls everywhere around here, I anticipate. So we have better parking. When we moved to this building, we were very cramped in the first building. The files would stack up and you'd lose people. For several years, I never saw Kayla because of the file. But we're also very efficient in this building. We use video in the courtroom. We can go to Google Maps to see specific locations. when that comes up in trials. We scan records, so we're not paperless, but we are less paper. And electronic ticketing has been around for a while. We're also a pilot court in terms of getting the electronic abstracts to the DMV. So less paper in terms of the whole process from ticket to a record going to the DMV.
It's got to be a great service to the people who are actually coming to court to be able to actually visualize the electronics on the screens.
Right. And they check in on a monitor, and we don't make people wait. I mean, some courts, they just call the roll alphabetically or otherwise. You have to be there for 2 hours. Here you can check in, we'll pull your paperwork. We hope you get you out of here in 20 minutes or so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a great service as well.
Yeah. I think people appreciate that. Time is valuable.
Yes, it is.
They'd rather be at work.
As your role as our judge here at the Justice Court, do you participate in any committees or work with any of the groups around that? I know that a lot of times we like to share with people on Close-Up kind of the collaboration piece. So are you working with any committees, attending monthly meetings, that sort of thing? Tell us a little bit about that.
I do. There are a couple I'm on. One is the local Public Safety Commission. It's part of the Oregon's Justice Reinvestment Act, which was about, you may remember 10 or more years ago, we were talking about building state prisons in every community in the state, and where do we site them, and how much is that going to cost? And basically that program is about taking those dollars that would have bought prisons and reinvesting them in local programs like drug courts, those sorts of things. And 75 to 80% of the county budget is on public safety. So I serve as a citizen member of the Public Safety Commission, and that's where you have people at the table, Department of Human Services, your mental health providers, law enforcement, where we all get informed about what's going on locally for public safety.
Great collaboration again.
That is a great interactive committee that I'm on. The other one is the Traffic Safety Committee, which is a county committee. And we have people from roads department, so they give us the engineering angle. We have, of course, law enforcement, the enforcement angle, and citizens who just served. I think that was one of the first videos you did.
You bet, yeah.
We've had people who've been on that committee for years and years. And it really is the place where citizens can come in and say, we're having this issue with pedestrians or speed or whatever. They get the input from the experts, and we see what we can do to problem solve these things.
So tell us something that might surprise people about the Justice Court.
I think it might be, and this one I didn't have prepared, we're really nice people. Like,
right.
Like I said, our clerks have a customer service role. Mm-hmm. They try to work with people. We see a lot of people in, somewhat desperate financial straits.
Right.
We work with them. I sort of have the same attitude in court. I explain to people what's on their driving record, how they can fix it. There are times when I have to play the stern father and say, look, son, I could take away your license forever, and but most of the time, not everybody leaves, singing and skipping, but most of the time they feel like they've been heard and treated fairly. We hope to accomplish that. I love my interaction with young people. I take more time with young people. I explain that, if you're a male under 25, you're in a high-risk insurance group. Every ticket you get is going to cost you more in insurance than the cost of the ticket. So you better develop those good driving habits now. So I just really love people, and I love that interaction that I have with people one-on-one in court.
Good, that is surprising. Thank you very much for the time you spent with us today, and we hope that we've accomplished our goal of you knowing a little more about Justice Court and a little bit about Judge Joe Charter. Thank you.